Good morning and welcome to Joy News Interactive, your most interactive 30 minutes on television. Hope you had a great weekend, because I did. Yes, I was at work. And today, very interesting issues we are discussing. John Dumelo is trending. And if you want to know why before I show you here on TV, just get onto our Facebook page and watch that video for yourself. We'll also be talking about power. Now it seems that the situation is worsening per the reports that we are receiving. We'll talk about the power situation in your area. Tell me what your story is, as well as we'll pick your comments on a very sad story. We brought you a story about a 5-year-old who was defiled by her own cousin, and we're hearing that that young lady has passed. A lot of you are leaving your comments on that story on Facebook. We'll be bringing that to you later. But here's how to get interactive with us. Get onto Facebook. Our name is Joy News on TV. When you get there, the various issues we discuss are posted there. Kindly leave your comments in the comment section. You can also tweet at us at Joy News on TV. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message on the number 0560 800,000 0560 800 000. Let's start with this rather sad one about that young girl I spoke to you about earlier. She has passed on. She was defiled by her cousin, and she was only 5 years old. Now, a lot of you have been leaving your comments about that story in the comment section, but for those of you at home, you can also send me your thoughts on that particular story on the number 0560 800,000, and I will be glad to share it with the rest of the world. Now, some of you are sending us messages here already. This is from Chief in Kumasi. We're talking about Kojo Bonsu's exit. Okay, well, that's not what we're discussing today, but let's get onto Facebook. And Bafo Emmanuel says that is why sometimes he likes Jerry Rawlings. He says he will not spare you. Okay, all right. He's talking about some strict forms of punishment for people who do this to young girls like this one. Omar Sterling says the man must be castrated. Interesting. George Arthur thinks otherwise. Millicent Onuma Mensa says this is really sad and says rest in peace, innocent girl. Murat Shaibu says she's actually exclaiming, oh God, what a sad story this morning. She's asking that the soul of this young girl will rest in peace, and also for the family that they take it quite easy with this. Bavi Augustine Kontono says he thinks the parliament should amend the punishment for defilement to castration. And so and that's what the story is bringing about, is sparking up a lot of debate about what forms of punishments should be meted out to people who do things like this. And People Douglas says, Nawa for some boys. She says everything is a mistake and says he should be in jail forever, and also adds that may the soul of this young lady rest in peace. Amerisco Printer says, okay, I said an advertisement over there. Entry Kwesi says he can't think far. Why? And says this man needs 100 years imprisonment. Well, we know he's a 19-year-old boy actually, so well, I don't know if you classify that as a man. Of course, he's above 80, so he's a man. Benedicta Goleku says you fought hard, Angel, but God knows how best he wants you with him. And she says rest in peace, and you can see that emoji there with a lot of tears streaming down her face. Pa Amadi Jallo says he should never see daylight, and asking for punishment for that young man. Benjamin Nyako says, and well, Abraham Tucker Jr. says because of 15,000 cedis this young girl died, and adds rest in peace. That's how much she needed to undergo a surgery that could probably have saved her life. Bobri Baume Jr. says this is very sad news, and this one also says, well, she suffered enough, and so a lot of people think that it's better that she goes to rest. That's what they think. So that should be it for this particular story, and a lot of you are sharing your comments with us. Now let's talk about fuel and power. We are hearing that there'll be about a 2.5% reduction to fuel products in the next review of the prices of fuel. But a lot of you aren't concerned about that. For you, what you want is your power. And per the reports we're receiving, the doomsday situation is getting worse by the day. When we come back, we'll take your comments on that. Kindly stay with us on Joy News Interactive. Thanks so much for staying with us on Joy News Interactive, your most interactive 30 minutes on television. Now let's talk about something really interesting. John Dumelo is trending. No, he hasn't acted another movie. You got it wrong. This time, something he said while campaigning in WA has, sparked a lot of different opinions on social media. Some think there's nothing really wrong with what he said. Others think that's not the way to go, John. If you haven't seen that video, just take a look at it.
Some people are violent. They'll chase you with sticks. They'll pour acid on you. So bakaranda ba anu su akaranda ba anan dara ada asir kuwan batar kuwan awa hanba fati da an wa anu batar kuwan ba ma fati ya ban kala da ko lo but remember that you belong to ke bang ka fati ne imbe ke e proud ke da fati ne imbe na ada jiga ka because ka fati ti an wala imbe I am proud to be an NDC person ko ina mayan on NDC and I know each and every one of you is proud. One day, each and every one of you will be blessed with so many things. So basically, this is my first tour. This is my second time. It was the first time I was here in 2009. But next time I'm coming, I'm going to bring my other actors friends to come and shout out to everybody. In 2009, food and where this is our second.
So what do you think? I'll find out pretty soon on WhatsApp. Send your number and send your message to me on the number 056-800,000. But let's get into Facebook, because this has been creating a lot of controversy. And Jumo Yao says, well, John has the right to say what he thinks, and he will retain his political party in power. So he really doesn't see any big deal here. But he's telling John that, look, John, we are in Ghana. If the NDC doesn't win, then you're going back to opposition. He says it's a promise. Mama Bako just says, thanks for the good work you're doing, John. Don't mind to those hypocrites. They're against you because you aren't on their side. So for many people, and earlier comments I've seen on other platforms, it's not so much about John campaigning for the NDC or not, but it's about what he said. They're thinking that it wasn't appropriate that he had to say that some will chase you with sticks and some will pour acid on you and all that. But let's hear what you have to say. Dilton Akumia Mensah says it's like anyone that joins the NDC talks anyhow. He's asking that who in the MPP is using Mills's death for campaign. Says using hate speech won't convince people to vote for the NDC. But, and to that issue we'll be coming to shortly, he says, but ending Dumso corruption and making the economy resilient is the only way that can make you win this election, of which even if we give you 1,000 years, well, and that's from Dilton Akumia Mensah. He thinks that the NDC can't win. And Adai Cosmos says he has no campaign message than to make such a comment. Says that Mahama family are still in pains and mourning. So Dumelo, you better stop the derogatory comments you're making. Gradually, he says dirty politics is chopping his head off. There's a lot to that, but let's move on. Samuel Chin says, is this the peace message or campaign he's been spearheading? Says, I'm pitying this happens in one party against the other. Please, John, come again. We don't need this kind of campaign. Wahab Sunini FT says Ghana is bleeding, so you don't have anything good to tell Ghanaians. This is all they've got, yet they clap for them. And he adds, so pathetic. And Mohammed Mustafa Sadia says, John Dumelo, read Romans 16:18. Interesting. Says you are like other pastors who walk with their stomachs. And then Maxwell Osei Jr. says, so, well, is that the NDC's campaign message after 4 years of Dumso corruption and incompetence? He says, another John. the Jones won't be happy with you, Maxwell. Veronica Marty says, go check the insults given him on other platforms. Like I said, on other platforms are pretty bad language over there. But Omar Sterling says, I think he hasn't mentioned anyone's name, who the cat fits. Okay, I'm sure he put the question mark there so we can continue. But there's one reply to that. And well, that's another angle to this particular incident. Some see, but John didn't mention any party's name, so why does it look like a particular party is trying to... Anyway, Veronica Martin laughs at her own comment again, and Alberta Quatin says, John Pan says, really says, hashtag disappointed, couldn't have gone this far. Will Biggie Tieku says, in my opinion, I accepted John to endorse and educate the good people of Wa about peace and his message rather than violence, because for this year's elections, well, says national security will always be effective and intact to stop such people to act in violence. Valerie Song, wow, okay, let's scroll up quickly. Bugri Baumia says, well, interesting comments there. And Bernard also thinks, well, that's their own message. Okay, so let's get on to WhatsApp. And this one says, what did he say wrong? His comments were innocuous, and for Christ's sake, he wanted to score a political point when he met the people. Says, allow him to air his views. And this from Kwame Mensah in Agona Abodom. So because he has a political point, he can say anything. Is that what you're saying? Well, I'm just asking. Saha Sulen Tamale says, interesting times ahead, and he says that with a broad smile. And this one says, John will vote for NDC and I will vote for MPP. It cancels out. This is Kosi Baden from Moda. Okay, so you are actually giving the MPP a vote to cancel John Tumelos for the NDC. Well, this one says, okay, about doom, so we'll come there quickly. And this one says he was speaking the gospel. This is Andy in Koko. Okay, I can see your messages in doom, so we'll come there shortly. This one says, I'm real biggie for my bra, so I wonder for what reason. It's talking about that story about the 5-year-old who's lost her life after being defiled by her own cousin. This one says the 19-year-old guy must be jailed for life. He says, rest in peace to the young girl. This one says politics can distract talent. I believe they missed the preschool games. Okay, so I don't know. Tum Tum from Cape Coast, what exactly are you talking about? And then so let's move on to Doomso, because I can see a lot of your messages and you want to talk about Doomso. Okay, let's talk about Doomso. I roll with John Dugmelo. So this one says, Doomso is here again, and until the cosmetic, lipstick and powder system of solving this issue is put aside, Doomso will still hang over us. This is Lex City from Bogoso. Okay, a lot of your comments coming in. Andy in Koko says that it's false. Doomso is gone. Andy from Nkoko, where do you live? Probably we have to find out if there's a maybe peculiar, favoritism, something going on with your area, because a lot of people are complaining on social media all over the place that the power situation is worsening. And Saha Sule and Tamale sending us a message, another message over there, but I think that you are not done. This one is from Awal Chambers, and he's asking about John Dumelo's issue. He says, what is wrong with his comments? Is it not happening in Ghana? And he's asking, okay, but Awal, a lot of people want to find out, is that the way we want to go with our politics, especially in this season when there's a lot of tension, and obviously it will continue until probably we're done with the elections. And this one says Dumso Pani. Okay, you didn't add your name and location. Can you tell us where you're sending us your message from and what the power situation in your area is? Well, the MPP has released a statement saying that the government is deceiving the general public about the true problem regarding our power situation. This one says there's no Dumso in Tamale, and this is coming from Saha Sule in Tamale. Okay, thank you so much for your messages. This one says Dumso is too much here at Ifidiasi area. This is JB from Setra. Okay, and you've actually you're saying that this kind of meters have been in place more than a year without bills. Oh, okay, we'll check that. We'll check that. The news team will follow up on this. Thank you so much for the information. This one says the power situation is demarcated to some parts of Ghana, and this is Tuntum in Cape Coast. Tuntum in Cape Coast, do you experience power outages? We want to know what the power supply problem or issue is in where you live. This one says that doom so do all. This is OBM sending us this from Tema. Okay, this one says I feel John didn't mention any party's name, and I know he has made the right choice. He's sending us this. This is Evans Nkrumah sending us this from Ellen Bele. Andy from Nkoko says there is no doom. So interesting. I'd like to hear what's happening wherever you are in the part of the country. Just let me know what the doom situation is, because here in Accra it's quite serious. And okay, I don't know what this is about. Let's move on. This one says the MPP should stop dragging Ghana backwards. I'm sure that's a comment in relation to that statement that was released by the New Patriotic Party. This one says National Doomso Congress, NDC, really says should leave Ghana in peace, but not in peace. There's a lot of your comments coming in about the Doomso situation, but you know, sometimes it's good to give yourself a good laugh and, you know, start the week with some positive energy. So before I go, let's take a look at her video for the day.
Wait, stop. Yes. Stop. Listen. Yeah. What happened yesterday? I was very disturbed. Okay. It was one of those days where you're just not in a good mood to talk. And if I had stopped, I wouldn't have been cheerful to have a conversation with you guys. So I drove. Okay. And that's because I got fired yesterday. I got fired. Fired? Are you fired? Who fired you? Machine gun or bullets or who? You fired? Somebody fired you? I got fired yesterday. Fired? You know that? Hey! Who told me fired you? Who fired you? Hey! Pistol? Pow! Bullet? Boom! Double bar? Boom! Boom! Tear gas? Pow! And knock out? Machine gun! And boom! You here? So you can't fire you. That's not what I mean. Then I told you guys to go to school. Since you are saying when you are fired, it means you lost your job, you were laid off, your work was taken from you. Laid off. Okay. Maybe they took the work from me. Took. Like, so I don't have work anymore.
I'm really sorry about the mess up in the latter part, but that got me laughing before I got here. But that's how we wrap up our Journeys Interactive for today. Thank you so much for your company. My name is Benis Abu Beidu. Don't forget that the conversation continues on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Joy News on TV. Same name will find us on Twitter at Joy News on TV. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message, a problem in your area, a video, a photograph, and we'll be glad to share it with the rest of the world. You can send that to the number 0560-800-1000. My name is Benis Abu Beidu once again. Do enjoy the rest of your day and take care.